Hey everybody, Bill here. Just decided to jump on today, looking to sort of get the upcoming draft class in order. I downloaded a created draft. There is a lot of actual players in here, but a lot of them are not real players. Um, as you can see, a majority of these I just put fake. The ones that are actually in the 1984 draft, I decided to keep them and. Anybody else whose name I could not find on the website, which is, let me just get that for you. It is basketball-reference.com is where I'm pulling this information from the draft. Um, all these players down here, most of them, I have yet to check them all. Um, most of these are fake players. So what I'm doing when I actually do the draft, which I have control of all the teams anyway, and the games I don't play, well, generally they're all Sixers games, but the other uh, teams, I will choose their draft picks in the order in which they were drafted in the actual 1984 draft, which will be coming up after this regular season. I believe it is June 19th. So ironically enough, my wedding anniversary. However, I was only in start of fifth grade in 1984. Anyway, so yeah, all these are fake players with a few real players scattered throughout. But the majority of these players down here uh, are not real, and there's a lot of them that I got to go and put fake on. Like I said, a few of these I found scrolling through here are real. Bob Thornton is definitely a real player. He actually became a Sixer one day. Um, as far as the rest of these guys, I'm going to say that's not a real person. At least not in 1984, anyway. Um, so these are some of the fakes I did already. I'm just going to call them fake. I'm going to go through and uh, hit them up again. Uh, but there are, as I went through this reference website, there are how many total draft picks? I seriously doubt it's going to be that many on here, but as I scroll through here, 228 draft picks in the 1984 draft. As I said, I don't think that will be happening here. Certainly not. I think you actually do the first two rounds, maybe the first round, and the rest is. I hope I'm able to do that because I don't want to have a bunch of fake players on these teams. Uh, but yeah, they go all the way down. These are all fake players, except this guy. He's a real guy, Victor Fleming. Now some of these are just names only. They have their ethnicity right. A few of them I actually had to go through and sort of edit their faces a little bit. Um, I know that's a real guy, but I don't know. I'd have to go through. Greg Wilcher. I know he was drafted. I know he's on the list. I've seen it. So, I have to see, one, what this guy looks like. Greg Wilcher. Let's see what he looks like. Hmm. Greg Wilcher. So if you're just tuning in, um, going through a downloaded draft class with I think over 50 players who were actually named, with the majority of the ones in this draft class not named. Those will be getting the first name of F Fake. So that way, when the draft comes up, they're not drafted. And if they are, I will not draft them, if that makes it all sense. Greg Wilcher. Sure. Greg Wilcher is definitely not black. He is a white basketball player. If I could just bring up his Let's see. Greg Wilcher is a Canadian former basketball player at the height of 6 feet 11 inches tall. Obviously, he was a center. Played at the center position. He played several important tournaments for the senior Canadian national basketball, including 1984 Summer Olympics. All right. So he is a real guy. Let's see. Greg Wilcher. He was drafted by the Bulls in the 43rd overall pick. I'm sorry, 43rd overall, second round, 19th pick. And this ain't the guy. So this is a fake Greg Wilcher. I'm wondering if they have his vitals right. Let's see. Nope. Definitely a, believe it or not, they use somebody's real name and to make a generated fake player. I did see this name somewhere else in here, so this might be a second name. That's Greg Wilcher. Again, I'm just using this as an example of what I'm doing. Oh, that sounds annoying. So I'm going to put F fake just to know that this is not a real player, even though there is a Greg Wilcher. He is definitely not a black player. He's a white player. He's also not a point guard. He's a center, and he's 6'11", and I would dare say he's definitely not the height of this cat. So yeah, we're going to call him fake. F fake, or all the non-actual players. So I'll just go ahead and save that. Whoever did this draft class was very keen on detail. There's a couple draft classes in the 1984 version who were created, and they covered a lot. There was one in particular by the name of Melvin Turpin, who was not in the this one class that I got, even though it was very detailed. Couldn't find him. However, the one that I just drafted, the one that I just downloaded here, the one that I'm editing now, he was in there. And why is Melvin Turpin a big deal? Well, he was actually drafted 5th overall, I believe. If I can pull the draft back up. Bear with me. Let's see. So, Melvin Turpin, who I believe was drafted from Kentucky, University of Kentucky. He was drafted right behind Charles Barkley at 6th, and he was from Kentucky, and he was drafted by the Washington Bullets, who quickly traded him to Cleveland for, I think, Mark McNamara and somebody else. Or, I'm sorry, Tim McCormick, who would also be drafted 12th out of the University of Michigan. So that would be a little bit of a deal there between the Bullets and the Cavaliers. So this guy was fake. Fake. Obviously, I put fake in front of their names already. I've done a few of these. So that's the bottom of the list. There's only a few left that I actually have to name fake, but if we go all the way back up here, here is the 1984 draft class. Obviously, this is not the order in which they will be drafted, but they are listed in terms of their overall rating. There's MJ, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, who is missing hair. I'm going to have to give him some hair. Did a good job on the face, though. Let me see. It's all right. It's all right. Technically, I just needed this extra draft class so I could actually export their likenesses into the 84 season that I'm currently doing. But just to give you an idea of the draft class this year, a lot of big names: Barkley, Olajuwon, Jordan, Kersey, Stockton, Sam Bowie, Kevin Willis, Sam Perkins, Otis Thorpe, Michael Cage, Michael Young. That's my son. Yes, I put him in there because I'm going to draft him to the Sixers. Vern Fleming. All these real people. My son is actually a real person as well, but he will not be, obviously not a real player. Bernard Thompson, Danny Young, Jeff Turner. All these players here are actually real. I actually looked up their names on that website, which, again, if you're going to be doing your own rosters or adjusting your draft class and you want to find out who was drafted when and who's real and who isn't, basketball-reference.com is the one I'm using. I'll have to put that in the comments when I finish this video. Charles Jones is definitely not drafted in this. That's an error. I'll have to get rid of that. Stansbury is real. This guy's real. These are all real people. Again, I don't know if their likenesses are spot on, but I know this Tom Sewell I know is real. I already looked him up. He was drafted by the Sixers in the 84 draft. Leon Wood was also drafted by the Sixers. And again, a lot of these are just generic faces. Fake. There's Melvin Turpin. I kind of adjusted the hair a little bit, gave him a mustache and some stubble. Fakey Hardaway. Yeah. Tim McCormick is a real player. He was also a Sixer at one point. So, yeah, anybody that is not a real person, they're getting the name fake or F fake. Jim Peterson, Rick Carlisle, who is actually a coach presently in the NBA. Kenny Fields, fake. Ron Anderson's a real player. Jay Murphy, Steve Coulter. So, yeah, this is what I did to all the players who are not real. I guess at some point we'll have to, depending on how many rounds, and again, I don't have to worry about this draft till the end. I just wanted to find some players who, my particular draft class in my season, that were not in there. So I was just basically scrolling through the different downloadable draft classes of the 84 draft class just to try to get the some of the notables that were missing. And one of them just happened to be Melvin Turpin, who was drafted number 6 overall, right behind Charles Barkley, who was near and dear to 76ers fans. He got his start as a Sixer. So, and again, there's a few I'm going to have to go through and fake. So that's what I've been doing. No games today, assuming I'm not on call tomorrow. On the Sixers schedule, I believe we play the Detroit Pistons, which would have been January 16th, 1984. Could have been the 17th, I'm not sure. Actually, I think it's Martin Luther King Day, 1984. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Pretty much all the ones that I need are in here. Obviously, the ones that I don't need are going to be faked. Lenny Hardaway. I think there was like 3 or 4 different Hardaways. That might have been the third one. Yeah. So, and again, Thornton was one. Tim McCormick was another one. Oscar Woolridge. I mean, yeah. A lot of physics in here. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Actually, I'm not going to do that quite yet because I have to export some likenesses and put them in the draft class. If I'm going to have to get a tally of who I'm missing and try to bring them up and put them in my draft class in my season. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to save this. And we'll save it here. '84 draft. Whoops. I'm going to put WIP, work in progress. I do have to give credit where it's. I don't know who made this particular draft class, but they did a really good job. Again, I counted at least 50 plus actual real people in this, whereas the one that was made by 2K, where some of the notables are in there, a lot of names they could not use due to, I guess, licensing issues. So a lot of people were able to go in and make Charles Barkley, for instance. Barkley was not in the game. Somebody actually had to make him. And I'm glad they did. They did a really good job. Um, so that's that. So yeah, if you ever go in and you want to find some draft classes, this is the way you would do it. Go to the user created. And I usually go in here and just put 1984. Just trying to remember which one I drafted. I think if it shows up, if a little message shows up in the description up there, that might give me a tip off as to who. Not sure. All these people made their own draft class, but you could tell by the downloads, I guess, who Len Bias. Len Bias, that was tragic. I think he was to be drafted by the Celtics, and I think he was killed, if I'm not mistaken. He may have been one of the ones with Len Bias. With Chuck. Yeah, definitely. A lot of 84 draft classes that were made up here. Can't quite find the one I'm looking for, though. Maybe I'll just put 1984 draft. Might find it better that way. Oops. No. Oh, boy. There we go. I think this is it here. I think that's where I got full 2 rounds. So, Noah the Awesome, you did a great job, buddy. So I believe that is the one I got my draft class from. See what else is down here. '84 draft with added players. 2 versions of that with Barkley. So apparently this expert diehard guy has done several different versions. And then you have people who are getting creative with Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, Tim Duncan, AI, and more in a 1984 draft. The thing I can't figure out is like they have different years. Like some people went and created the '86 draft or the '86 roster and the '85 roster and the '87, '88, '89, yada yada yada. I don't know exactly how to use them in the 1983 Magic versus Bird season without skipping through the calendar all the way up to those years. Like in other words, I downloaded the '86 roster earlier today and the '86 draft class, and you're still starting out in 1984. So I don't know exactly how you're supposed to implement these sort of uh, future rosters, if you will. If you're starting out or you're in the midst of the '83-'84 season, you got to wait 2 seasons in order to use those rosters, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that part. Hopefully, if anybody watches this who plays this game and does this roster deal, they could kind of smart me up on that because I honestly don't know. So anyway, I'll figure out. I'm pretty sure that the one that I drafted earlier was this right here. Pretty sure it was this one with the full 2 rounds. So I mean that's good. I mean, there's 20, I think 25 picks in each round. if I'm not mistaken. 24. Okay. So 24 in each round. So pretty much everybody that I could find is there, and I'm going to pluck the ones I need from these other draft classes that maybe were omitted from the one that I got for my season and just plug them in. That's really the only way I can think of getting it right. Got a long way to go in my season, though. Let's see. Yep, that would be Tuesday. So actually, we had a game last night with the Sixers and the Golden State Warriors. Tough game that was. Um, had a loss the night before against the Celtics. That was I just wasn't meant to win that game. It was bad. Shots weren't falling. Nobody was doing what they were supposed to do. But generally speaking, I mean, that's the way basketball goes, the ebb and flow of a season. But they bounced back and fought back against the Warriors last night. Yeah, 16th are off. I already did some training that day. So Tuesday, if I have time, I will play. Sixers are actually home that day, and then they'll go to Cleveland. And then the trade deadline. I don't believe I'll have to go back and look at the transactions from the Sixers from the 84 trade deadline to see if there was anything done. I don't believe they made any trades. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. That was the draft class. Something on my phone. Back to that page. Let's see. 83, 84 season roster and stats. Let's see. Transactions. So a lot of these happened before the season actually started. November. Sam Williams is already on the team, so he's already there. Sam came over from the Golden State Warriors. I guess that was in a deal during the swap from a former draft pick. February of this month, Charles Jones was signed to a 10-day contract. Bruce Kazensky signed as a free agent on February 1st. February 11th, they waived him. Wes Matthews was signed on March 22nd. That has yet to happen, even though he's already played in the game for me already. So if the trade deadline is January 19th, there are I'm not seeing any transactions by the defending world champion Philadelphia 76ers until March 22nd. They signed Wes Matthews, and by April 11th, they waived him. I'll have to figure out who picked them up. So it wasn't until the draft, June 19th, that more transactions were made. And, of course, they chose Charles Barkley in the first round, along with Leon Wood and Tom Sewell. James Banks in the third round. Butch Graves in the third round. Earl Harrison. Bunch of names on here I've never even heard of. It looks like they traded Tom Sewell to the Bullets for a 1988 first-round pick, which actually wound up being Harvey Grant in 1988. Wow, cool. So apparently Tom Sewell was drafted by the Sixers and evidently never played a game for him. He wound up on the Washington Bullets. So June 19th will come and go, and there will be no trades. I guess I'll have to check the rest of the teams to see if any moves were made on their end. I kind of want to make it, as realistic as possible, which is why I chose to control all the teams so that I could sort of mimic what they did in 84, or at least this point in the 83-84 season. So that's it. That's what I was doing for the draft, and that's what I was doing for the players who were, well, not real people. So I guess that's going to be it for now. Let me get off of here. Let's see what else is going on. So let's see if there's any games today that have not been played yet. Oh, see, I'm already scrolled up to here. Daily View. No games. So tomorrow, Tuesday, these are all the games on tap on Tuesday, January 17th, 1984. The Pistons come to town with Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer, Vinnie Johnson, Cliff Livingston, Bill Laimbeer. There you go, one of the bad boys. This is before they get Rick Mahorn. That bad boys team, I guess that's from like 87, 88. But that's your starting five for Tuesday. Obviously, there will be no changes. Let's see what else is going on. Well, Sixers are number one team. Only the Utah Jazz have second best record in all the NBA in this season. So I actually looked through here for individual leaders. League leaders absolute, all positions. Wins. No, I'm not looking for that. I'm actually looking to see. I was going through the leading vote getters for All Stars and yeah, here we go. Season awards, award races. Here we go. So Big Moses is in the lead for the MVP. He's hanging and banging out there, averaging almost 30 points a game with an incredible average of 15.7 rebounds per game. Assists 2, 0.7 SPG, BPG. I don't know what that means, to be honest. Looks like Dr. J's in there, too. He's in the running. Rookie of the Year. Look at Doc Rivers. The current Sixers coach is in the running for Rookie of the Year. Steve Stepanovich for the Pacers. Ennis Watley up front. Yep, he might be in the running for the Rookie of the Year this year, but once MJ gets here at the end of this season, he'll be the Rookie of the Year 1985. Sixth Man of the Year, Kevin McHale. I have so many different six men that come in. I thought Bobby Jones would be at least in the top five, but apparently that's not the case. But Kevin McHale, Junior Bridgman, Mike Woodson, John Long, Lonnie Shelton. Defensive Player of the Year, absolutely, without question. Tree Rollins. There's Big Ralph. Impressive. 12 rebounds per game. Not bad. 7'4" guy who could shoot, grab boards. Pretty much a JoJo of his day, but we kind of liken this guy to him, even though he's not as tall as JoJo. But he was absolutely the man on the front court for the Sixers. They show their. Oh, who's upset? Tree Rollins is upset, huh? Well, he may be sluggish, Big Moses, but he's exhilarated. His team's in first place. He's making $10.63 million. Not bad. Most improved player. Sal Thompson, John Bagley, Neek. Dominique Wilkins, averaging almost 30 points a game as well. Cliff Livingston, and Big Jeff Rowland, who I will say this over and over again, I will never understand why they actually traded Moses to the Bullets to get this guy. I don't know what the reasoning was behind that. I don't think I'll ever know. I don't think anybody can really explain it to me. other than the general manager of the Sixers at the time, which I believe was Harold Katz. I'm not sure. But whoever it was, in my opinion, they made a really bad decision. But yeah, there's your MVP or leading vote getter. So let's see. Didn't I want to look at All Stars? There we go. All Star voting. Western Conference. Let's go to the East. So the top vote getter looks like Isaiah Thomas, followed by Sidney Moncrief for the Bucks, Otis Birdsong for the Nets, New Jersey Nets. Former Sixer World B. Free is in there, along with current Sixers Andrew Toney and Maurice Cheeks as top vote getters. Nice. What am I looking at here? I'm kind of trying to figure out what this is. Oh, front court. Okay. Back court. So this is for guards and whatnot. Front court, Moses has the lead. Dr. J at third behind Larry Bird, Bernard King, Jeff Rulin, Robert Parrish, Neek, Marquess Johnson, Kelly Tripucka from the Pistons will level out the top 10 vote getters for front court. And no surprise, Magic Johnson is the leading vote getter in the Western Conference for the backcourt. George Gervin, Walter Davis, Darrell Griffith, Ricky Green. No mailman yet. Mailman isn't here yet. Karl Malone, yet to be drafted. Jim Paxson, not to be confused with John Paxson. Gus Williams, Rolando Blackman, Norm Nixon of the San Diego, soon-to-be Los Angeles Clippers. And Reggie Theus rounds out the top 10 for the Kansas City Kings, not yet Sacramento. I believe that happens in 1984. It should be by the end of this year, if not 1985. Front court, let's go back up for, no shock here, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Adrian Dantley, Mark Aguirre, Alex English, Purvis Short. I'll tell you what, that dude was giving me fits when we were playing them last night, as a matter of fact. There's Big Ralph. He's there number 6, Jack Sikma. Center for the Seattle Supersonics. No Sean Kemp yet, boys and girls. Kiki Vandeweghe is in there, Mike Mitchell, and Joe Barry Carroll. So, yeah, so those are the vote getters so far. Click of all the vote getters, I think Moses might have the most of all vote getters. Yeah. Over 2 million votes. Well, almost 3 million votes. Larry Bird's right there behind him. But he deserves it. I mean, the dude puts up a lot of points per game, so grabs a lot of boards. So I guess that's it for now. Try to get back here on Tuesday night. Knock this game in with the Detroit Pistons, with Isaiah Thomas coming to town with Bill Laimbeer and the boys, and Moses, Doc, Cheeks, Tony, Mark Ivoroni. They'll all be ready. And hopefully it'll be a competitive game. It won't be a blowout, as I was really taken to task by Boston on the 13th. Friday the 13th was not so lucky. The luck of the Irish was against me that day, I guess. In any event, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble. We'll see you next time.